Hello everyone, I'm Huma, and today I'm going to discuss how the effortful learning changes the brain. Human brains have the capability to build and change and make new connections. It is a powerhouse of our being. I will also discuss learning is a responsibility that goes to both the students and the trainers. There are effective methods to learn in this workshop, and hopefully we can learn something that would stick with you. After completing this workshop, the participant will be able to discuss brain's plasticity to expand and grow intellectual abilities, describe different brain training practices, summarize how effortful learning changes the brain, define growth mindset and its impact on learners, list effective study strategies. In introduction, brain's ability to expand and grow intellectual ability increases brain power. There's been an increase in research in brain plasticity and the capacity of cognitive manipulation to get more brain power. Mnemonics is from the Greek word for memory. They are devices and mental tools that are used to hold large amounts of new material in memory to be recalled later. Neuroplasticity is a fairly new concept about brain's ability to build and rebuild neural pathways. Axons are selective microscopic branches that travel to search for dendrites. Dendrites are tiny crucial points and both meet to form a synapse. The brain's mutability has become evident in many educational studies. The studies related to neuroplasticity have neural circuits that are strengthened as a result of habit. The brain is not a muscle. What this means is that people don't become more intelligent by using effective learning and memory strategies alone. The results have shown that brains of experts have enhanced myelination of axons related to the area of expertise but not elsewhere in the brain. This idea of growth mindset is about our attitudes. The belief about performance and learning goals depend on our perceptions about the task at hand. These goals trigger entirely different thinking patterns and actions from each other. Deliberate practice is a goal-directed practice where sustainability is the outcome. The repeated practice's central idea and optimum outcomes are a product of quantity and quality of practice, not our DNA, and being an expert at something is not only for people who are motivated, has the time and discipline to pursue it. Memory cues are about associating a mental image with verbal or abstract material. It can also be a memory palace that holds large amounts of materials in memory and along with mnemonic devices. This technique makes the materials easy to retrieve from memory. Rhyme schemes are also used as mnemonic tools to link each number with a concrete image. In conclusion, effortful learning changes the brain. It builds new pathways and abilities. We're born with intellectual abilities that are not fixed. How we shape our world is up to us. The more we practice at something, the more we sustain it. The belief about performance and learning goals depend on our perceptions about the task at hand. The authors broke the chapter down with tips for students, lifelong learners, and trainers. Students need to know that anything worthwhile is difficult to attain. Setback happens, and these are the signs of efforts, not failure. As learned in previous chapters, effort learning changes our brain because it makes new connections, building new mental models, and increases our capability. Lifelong learners are the teachers in anywhere else because we are, or anyone else, because we are always learning something. The learning strategies are the same as the students, but for this group, they are centered on classroom instructions. One thing to remember is that teachers cannot use a cookie cutter approach and reining all students in as some sort of a herd or a school of fish. These educators teach students how to study because students don't know and never taught how to study. It was recommended in the readings that frequent quizzing helped students consolidate learning, incorporate retrieval practice, generation, and elaboration. The practice to be transparent can avoid a lot of confusions and misunderstanding for the students. Trainers use the same methods as those who teach in schools, but in less structured settings. These trainers are utilized in many areas of the businesses, from licensed professionals to corporations. Various trainings and interventions are presented to better serve the consumers. The goals trigger entirely different thinking patterns and actions from each other. Deliberate practice is a goal-directed practice where sustainability is the outcome. The repeated practice, central idea, and optimum outcomes are a product of quantity and quality of practice, not our DNA. And being an expert at something is not only for people who are motivated or has the time or are disciplined enough to pursue it. In conclusion, retriever practice, space practice, and interleaving are the effective strategies for learning. Other effective learning strategies also include elaboration, which is a process of finding further codings of meaning in new materials. Generation is when attempt to answer a question before shown an answer. Reflection is the act of taking the information being presented and review it later and then ask questions about how and what this information did for the person. Calibration is the way to aligning your judgments of what information you know and don't know with objective feedback. This just clears away any illusions and helps with better reflective reality. Suggestions for implementations. Now that the participant have learned these effective learning techniques, the next step is to apply them in a classroom setting for our students. Suggestion number 1. Continuing with suggestions for implementation, instructors can easily incorporate active retrieval practice techniques into their course design. Benefits of retrieval practice are endless. As the authors of the article and the video demonstrated, the benefits of retrieval practice, all of us use it on a daily basis without knowing it, such as lecturing, rereading, or making mental notes. This learning strategy focuses on getting the information out, and this allows the strengthening of the brain connections to have more robust learning. The more challenging the recall, better it is for the brain because it creates long-term learning. It also improves critical thinking, better transfer of knowledge to new concepts, and organization of knowledge. This practice can be implemented at all grade levels, all subject areas, and all types of learners can benefit from this. Suggestion number 2. Instructors can offer short quizzes of up to 5 questions. These quizzes are given after each section of the chapter to promote practice and spaced practice. This will allow growth mindset to develop. Suggestion number 3, reflective summary would allow students to retrieve what they have read and what they have written down. In summary, Dr. Carol Dweck discussed we all are curious constantly about learning and we are eager to learn. Her research conducted many research studies and concluded that when we live in a pressure cooking setting such as aggressive adolescence, having growth mindset will lower stress and depression and increase overall health compared to the fixed mindset participants. Growth mindset promotes connectedness, engagement, and perceived hopefulness versus their counterparts of fixed mindset where there is no sign of engagement and no focus on skill training. Their self-efficacy is low. Mindsets can be changed by offering processed praise. It leads into effortful learning strategies, which leads to growth mindset. Teachers can incorporate positive feedback after their activities. I hope this was helpful, and thank you so much for your attention today.